Hello everyone. I hope you've all had a productive week so far. Today we have important and exciting news that everyone in the XRP community should not miss out on. Now, what if I told you that the SEC lawsuit against Ripple is already over? Well, I'm sure you're probably wondering, but the case is still ongoing. That's true. The case is still on, but the SEC has reached a dead end. They have dug themselves into a deep hole, and at this point, there's no imaginable way to get themselves out of it. What makes things even more interesting is the fact that the SEC has gotten itself in this situation by itself. We will get more clarity on what actually happened after reading one of the most informative Twitter threads by John DEATON. Hey guys, don't forget to join in the giveaway. We are giving away $1,000 to first place, $500 to second, and $250 worth of XRP to our third lucky winner. You can check out all the details in the comment section below. That's where all the requirements are listed. The lucky winners, we will announce them April the 1st right here in the video money side. With that in mind, let's roll that intro and get into all the juicy details of today's video. As always, welcome back to Moneyside, your favorite crypto news channel. Now, if you're new here, welcome to the XRP Army. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our daily crypto news updates. Back to today's topic, there's no reason for the SEC to continue fighting at this point. That means we could be looking at a settlement in probably a month's time. We can afford some excitement as we have witnessed the long journey of how the XRP community has single-handedly been able to take down the SEC. We can all agree at this point it hasn't been easy, considering that the SEC which is one of the most corrupt agencies in the government, according to some. Now, before anything else, let's look at that Twitter thread by John DEATON. He tweeted saying, "Prediction: the case against B. Garlinghouse and Chris Larson is over. It was over the day it was filed. There's no way the SEC can meet its burden. The SEC must prove the two executives had actual knowledge XRP was a security or was reckless in not knowing." This will be one of those long threads, but don't worry, we will take you through step by step, ensuring you understand all the facts that John DEATON stated. He went on further to say, in order to prove recklessness, the SEC must prove a reasonable person would have known XRP was a security because it was so clear and obvious to anyone at that time. Things got even more interesting when John DEATON starts reviewing some shreds of evidence regarding this lawsuit. 1. October 2012, Perkins Coin Memo. It concluded XRP was not a security. 2. Until April 2018, the SEC allowed staff, including enforcement lawyers, to trade and own crypto, including XRP, without any restrictions. 3. June 13, 2018, SEC legal memo analyzing whether or not XRP is a security. The SEC enforcement lawyers do not conclude XRP is a security because there's no enforcement recommendation made. 4. June 14, 2018, Hinman speech. Hinman said Ethereum is no longer a security because it's sufficiently decentralized. Since it can be argued that the XRP ledger is at least as decentralized, if not more, it's reasonable to believe ongoing sales of XRP from 2018 forward were lawful. 5. August 20th, 2018, meeting between Joel Katz and Brad Garlinghouse with Clayton and Hinman. Brad yells out, "Ripple's in purgatory because of the lack of clarity over XRP." Neither Clayton nor Hinman informs Garlinghouse or Ripple that they or the SEC believe XRP is a security. 6. Coinbase goes to the SEC in January 2019 and informs the SEC it has concluded XRP is not a security and plans listing XRP the following month. The SEC said nothing to discourage Coinbase, and XRP was listed in February 2019. As he winds up, John DEATON shares a comprehensive summary of everything with us. He claims that the 2012 Perkins Coie opinion letter destroys the SEC's chances of proving Garlinghouse and Larson actually believed XRP a security. If SEC enforcement lawyers, the experts who determine what is or isn't a security, couldn't make the case XRP was definitely a security as late as 2018, there's no way it can prove Larson and Garlinghouse were reckless in 2013 or beyond. What's pretty interesting here is that Ripple can prove the opposite by showing that it wasn't even evident to the SEC that XRP was a security by offering this evidence, one the SEC's own enforcement lawyers couldn't make the case in 2018. 2. The Hinman speech provided reason to believe XRP was in the clear. 3. Clayton and Hinman didn't communicate XRP was a security during meetings until 4 months before the lawsuit. 4. The SEC allowed its staff to own or trade XRP without restriction up until 2019. 5. It allowed MoneyGram to sell XRP to retail holders through exchanges. Thus, Garlinghouse and Larson can prove they didn't believe XRP was a security. They can also prove the SEC itself wasn't convinced XRP was a security. The final nail in the SEC's proverbial case proves what most independent market participants believed. You prove that by offering the Coinbase and Bailyard evidence. Coinbase, with its sophisticated securities lawyers, concluded in 2019 that XRP was not a security and communicated that fact to the SEC, and then proceeded to list XRP. Bailyard, a typical market participant, was very concerned about digital assets potentially being unregistered securities. Therefore, it made clear to the SEC that it would only trade digital assets generally accepted within the industry as non-securities, XRP. The defense rests. I know that was a lot to take in, but as you have all seen, the SEC has got nothing in their defense. That's why we couldn't be wrong to expect a settlement as soon as within the next 30 days. There is a good chance it's coming. It has been a long journey, and I'm sure everyone in the XRP community will be happy to see its end. All that said, time now to take a quick look at the charts. I know this is all taxing on our nerves. The SEC case not settling yet, and now the Russia versus Ukraine risking escalation towards a broader conflict. We've entered very uncertain times, and it's difficult to see XRP and most of the crypto market moving further north for several months. I think we are going further south, and it will be the next best opportunity since New Year's 2021 to grab more bags of XRP. Bitcoin and traditional markets plummeted after President Putin's decision to recognize the LPR and DPR, but digital assets have already begun to recover. On Tuesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin addressed the whole world, saying that he was ready to recognize the Donetsk and Lugansk regions. The West immediately reacted to this decision, and new sanctions sent risky assets, stocks, EM currencies, and cryptocurrencies to new lows. The dynamics of the coin will in the near future be very dependent on statements and comments regarding the current geopolitical situation. Technically, as long as the instrument is above $36,567, then one can count on a quick recovery in the principal, but there is no need to hurry too much. One needs to make sure that this recovery is real. It is still early. As always, do your own research, and always, now more than ever, trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Tell us what you think in the comment section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below, and be sure to turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.